Good morning, everyone. Warriors, dreamers, fighters, thank you for being here today. I look around this room and I see strength. I see people who face pain, have carried burdens, who've been knocked down but are still standing. And I'm here to deliver a message that will light a fire in your soul. The courage to keep going when it hurts is the heartbeat of triumph. It's the spark that turns struggles into stories, setbacks into comebacks, and pain into power. Today, we're going to talk about how to find that courage, how to nurture it, and how to use it to keep moving forward no matter how much it hurts. Let's start with a raw truth. Life hurts sometimes. It's not always sunshine and victories, it's late nights of doubt, moments of failure, seasons of loss. Pain comes in many forms: the sting of rejection, the weight of disappointment, the ache of pushing past your limits. But here's the secret. The courage to keep going when it hurts isn't about ignoring the pain. It's about embracing, learning from it, and letting it fuel your journey. Courage is choosing to take one more step, even when your legs are trembling, even when your heart is heavy, even when every fiber of your being says stop. When you find that courage, you don't just survive the hurt, you transform it. You don't just endure, you thrive. What does it mean to have the courage to keep going when it hurts? It means showing up for your dreams, even when the road is rough. It means fighting for what matters, even when the odds are stacked against you. It means holding on to hope, even when despair feels closer. Courage is the quiet resolve to try again after you fail. The stubborn refusal to let pain define you, the bold choice to rise after every fall. It's about understanding that hurt is not the end of your story. It's a chapter, a lesson, a chance to grow stronger. And when you keep going, despite the hurt, you don't just reach your goals, you redefine what's possible. You become a beacon of resilience, a testament to the power of perseverance. I want you to think about a time when you were hurting, a time when life felt heavy, when giving up seemed easier than pushing for. Maybe it was a relationship that broke your heart, leaving you questioning your worth. Maybe it was a business venture that collapsed, draining your savings and your confidence. Maybe it was a physical challenge, like an injury that stopped you from doing what you love. Now, think about what it would mean to keep going despite that hurt. What would your life look like if you found the courage to take one more step, to try one more time, to believe in yourself again? Because the courage to keep going when it hurts is the key to unlocking your greatest victories. Let me tell you a story about someone who found that courage, a man named Ludwig van Beethoven. In his 20s, Beethoven was a rising star in music, composing brilliant symphonies and performing as a pianist. But then he began losing his hearing, a devastating blow for a musician. By his 40s, he was almost completely deaf, unable to hear his own compositions. He could have given up, saying, "I can't create without hearing. This pain is too much. I'm finished." But Beethoven found the courage to go on with God. He felt the vibrations of his piano, used a stick to send notes and poured his soul into his music. In his death, he could hear. He composed the masterpieces like the Ninth Symphony, now a global treasure. Why? Because Beethoven had the courage to keep going when it hurt. Because he refused to let pain silence his genius. Let's dive deeper into Beethoven's story, because there's so much we can learn from his resilience. Imagine being Beethoven in 1802, noticing your hearing fade, the world growing quieter each day, knowing your career depends on sound. Imagine the frustration of missing notes, the isolation of conversations you can't follow, the fear that your gift is slipping away. Imagine the nights of despair, the temptation to abandon music, the pain of feeling broken in a world that expects perfection. And yet, Beethoven didn't surrender. He'd write furiously, sketching melodies in notebooks, trusting his inner ear. He'd experiment, adapt, and create, even when the hurt was overwhelming. And because he kept going, he didn't just make music, he made history. He showed us that the courage to keep going when it hurts can change the world. Now, you might be thinking, that's an amazing story, but I'm no Beethoven. I don't have that kind of talent or legacy. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to be Beethoven to have courage. You don't need to be a genius or legend. The courage to keep going when it hurts is for everyone. It's about your journey, your battles, your victories. Maybe your courage means going to therapy to heal from trauma, even when it's painful to face. Maybe your courage means studying for that exam again, even after failing twice. Maybe your courage means walking away from a toxic situation, even when it breaks your heart. Whatever it is, it's yours. And when you keep going, despite the hurt, you create a life that's stronger than the pain. I felt the hurt in my own life, and finding the courage to keep going changed everything. A few years ago, I launched a podcast to share motivational stories, but it flopped. I poured my heart into it, hours of recording, editing, promoting, but the downloads were abysmal. I felt humiliated, like I'd wasted my time, like I wasn't good enough. I could have quit, saying, "This isn't for me. I failed. It hurts too much." But I found the courage to keep going. I studied what went wrong, took online courses to improve, and relaunched with a new approach. Today, my podcast reaches thousands, inspiring people worldwide. Why? Because I found the courage to keep going when it hurt. Because I chose perseverance over defeat. Let's talk about why this courage is so important. In a world that celebrates instant success, the courage to keep going when it hurts is your anchor. It's what keeps you grounded, what keeps you fighting, what keeps you growing. Pain is a teacher, showing you what matters, revealing your strength, shaping your character. Courage is your response to that pain. Your decision to move forward despite it, your commitment to your purpose. And when you keep going, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that hurt is not a barrier, it's a bridge. You become a light, a reminder that we can all find the courage to keep going and build a life that shines. Let me tell you about another person who found that courage, a woman named Frida Kahlo. Frida was a Mexican artist who faced unimaginable pain from a young age. At 18, she survived a bus accident that shattered her body, leaving her with lifelong injuries and chronic pain. She underwent dozens of surgeries and spent months bedridden. She could have given in, saying, "I can't paint like this. My body is too broken. It's over." But Frida found the courage to keep going when it hurt. She painted from her bed using a special easel, turning her pain into vibrant self-portraits that expressed her soul. Today, Frida's art is celebrated worldwide, a symbol of resilience. Why? Because Frida Kahlo had the courage to keep going when it hurt. Because she transformed her pain into beauty. Let's dive deeper into Frida's story, because there's so much we can learn from her defiance. Imagine being Frida Kahlo in 1925, waking up in a hospital bed, your body in a cast, every movement agony, knowing you may never walk freely again. Imagine the loneliness of recovery, the fear of being forgotten, the physical pain that never fully leaves, the emotional toll of lost dreams. Imagine the temptation to stop creating, to let despair win, to fade into silence. And yet, Frida didn't give up. She'd paint through the pain, mixing colors. With trembling hands, capturing her truth on canvas, she'd teach herself new techniques, find joy in small victories, and share her story unapologetically. And because she kept going, she didn't just survive, she inspired generations. She showed us that the courage to keep going when it hurts can create a legacy. So how do you find the courage to keep going when it hurts? How do you summon the strength to push forward when the pain feels unbearable? Let me give you 3 practical steps to help you get started. Step 1. Honor your pain, but don't let it own you. Acknowledge what hurts. Write it down, talk about it, feel it fully, but then remind yourself that you are more than your pain. You are your dreams, your resilience, your potential. Because when you honor your pain, you take away its power. You make room for courage. Step 2. Find your why and hold it close. The courage to keep going comes from knowing why you're fighting, for your family, for your purpose, for the person you want to become. So clarify your why. Visualize it. Let it be your compass. Because when you know your why, courage becomes your fuel. You keep moving forward. Step 3. Take the smallest step and celebrate it. Courage doesn't always mean giant leaps. It's often tiny actions, like getting out of bed, making a phone call, trying again. So commit to one small step each day and honor your progress, no matter how small. Because when you take that step, courage becomes your habit. You build a path through the pain. Let me tell you about a man I met named Ravi, a farmer from rural India. Ravi's village was hit by a drought that destroyed his crops, leaving his family on the brink of starvation. He was heartbroken, exhausted, and tempted to abandon farming altogether. He could have given up, saying, "There's no hope, I've lost everything, the pain is too great." But Ravi found the courage to keep going when it hurt. He honored his pain by grieving his losses, found his why in his children's future, and took small steps by learning new irrigation techniques. Today, Ravi's farm is thriving, feeding his community. Why? Because Ravi had the courage to keep going when it hurt. Because he chose hope over despair. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine a life where you've mastered the courage to keep going when it hurts. Imagine waking up every day knowing that no pain can stop you, that your struggles are shaping you, your setbacks are strengthening you, your courage is defining you. Imagine the peace you'll feel, the pride you'll have, the impact you'll make. Imagine looking back on your life and saying, "I kept going when it hurt, and I built a life that matters." That life is not a fantasy. That life is yours for the taking. All you have to do is find the courage. Let's take a moment to reflect. I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about a pain you're carrying right now. Something that's heavy, something that's tempting you to stop. How does it feel? Now picture yourself finding the courage to keep going, taking that next step, pushing through the hurt, rising stronger than before. Picture the person you'll become, the warrior you'll be, the legacy you'll leave, the joy you'll find. How does that feel? That feeling, that's the power of courage. That's what it means to keep going when it hurts. Let me share one more story, a story about a man named Viktor Frankl. Viktor was a Jewish psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, enduring the horrors of Nazi concentration camps. He lost his family, his freedom, and faced unimaginable suffering. He could have lost hope, saying, "There's no point. I can't survive this. The pain is too much." But Viktor found the courage to keep going when it hurt. He found meaning in helping others, scribbling ideas on scraps of paper, holding onto his belief in human resilience. After the war, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that's inspired millions. Why? Because Viktor Frankl had the courage to keep going when it hurt, because he turned suffering into purpose. So today, I'm asking you to make a promise to yourself, to your dreams, to the life you deserve. Promise to find the courage to keep going, no matter how much it hurts. Promise to honor your pain, find your why, and take that next step, no matter how small. Because I promise you, when you keep going when it hurts, you become unbreakable. You become a force of resilience. You become the person you were always meant to be. The courage to keep going when it hurts is your greatest strength. It's the fire that burns through every obstacle, the light that shines through every darkness, the power that builds every victory. So go out there, keep going, embrace the hurt, and watch how you become everything you were destined to be. Thank you. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.